shortest shot in golf.
Yeah,
So it's like the next one after that, shorter would be a flop shot, right? Open the face, cut across it, right? Okay.
I really struggle to turn the driver over.
Okay.
Like I can do it, but it's like I basically can't do it in the game.
Okay.
I'd love to be able to do that.
Okay.
But I mean, sometimes I do kind of, because I aim right. I'll smother it, and like if I miss it right, it's just gone.
Okay.
Right? Like I'll kind of like hook it a little bit every now and then.
Yeah.
With irons, I don't have as a consistent shape. Like probably a draw, but like I'd really like to have a more consistent idea of which way the ball's going to turn with an iron.
Totally. Yeah. Where do you play most of your golf? Yeah. Good. Takeaway's not too bad. I like how your arms are extending away from your body. That gives you a chance to really get this club up a little farther. But I would say your backswing, overall in general, doesn't look too bad. As the club comes down, we don't quite keep the depth that you've created.
Yeah.
So what we might do today is talk a little bit about your arm here being very vertical and try to get that arm flatter, just in the sense of trying to get the glove and the hands not working their way so much toward the target line and keep them back a little more. So like when I hold that right there in the swing, let's just stop it, okay? And I would look at that same position for me. See how much of my arm you can see?
Yeah.
See how the butt of the club and my hands are closer to my heel line?
Yeah.
When your arm shifts out this way, that's the one where you're going to have to either stand up like this or swing across the ball a little bit. But all of that is racing this part of the club too much back to the ball. So by the time the club head gets there, the handle's too far forward. Okay, so one of the reasons why I want to just tweak the backswing just a touch, get a little more depth deeper into your downswing. So let's say that you're on plane, you're just on a very steep plane.
Right.
So it's more Ferris wheel than it is merry-go-round.
Yeah.
Right? And then through the shot, like you do what you can do to keep the ball fairly square, which isn't too bad. I'm not going to talk too much about the follow through and where you end up, because I think that looks pretty good. I think our big goal today is trying to feel as though that halfway back into the swing, like where your right arm's even with the ground, I want the hands almost behind your heel. Yeah, way more depth. Yeah. And then if we can get more depth to that, then it just changes basically everything about how you're going to deliver this club into the ball. Later on, as we get through this stuff a little bit, we'll talk about how we can get into a bit of a finished position, then move into the ball. You kind of see that the back gets a little bit rounded through the shot, but I think that's you trying to keep the club face square. I think that's you trying to stay in your shot a little bit. And I'd like to see if we can almost feel through the shot that your back's getting straighter and more like extended. But that's going to be the second piece to this. So first things first is going to feel as though that in your takeaway, we're trying to feel like the hands stay kind of low and around you. And I don't want it to do it with your arms. It's not a hand and arm thing. It's me trying to take my body and turn it and swivel it early. All right, so you can notice here, like I'm not using my arms because I'm trying to hold this club onto the ground, onto my thighs, but I want to feel like I'm trying to point that club out to third base before I do anything with my arms. What you'll see is we get that rotation or that turn, the arms go back like this, and now all of a sudden when you get your arm even with the ground, the hands are way back here. So if the shaft was full of water and it pours out of the Arcos thing here, you're trying to pour it behind. That's the idea. And then once it gets back there from here, you're not going to shift out all the way through there. It's going to stay back here longer. It's going to stay back there longer, and now that club has a better chance of getting, well, a little bit more on the back of the ball where the shaft isn't coming down on plane but steep. It's coming down on a lower plane. And then from there, I think you're going to find much different contact, but a better ability to get the grip almost to slow down to let that catch up. Okay, so So from here, big turn all this stuff. Okay, keep turning. All right, now from here, as you take it up, keep going. Right, you want to feel like if this club is pouring stuff out all the way to here. Up and behind. Cool. How often do those shots show up? Beautiful. Huh, okay. Wow, definitely. Very cool. Yeah, so one shot, we changed this. Okay, so one more time, give me the practice. So hat on the ball, don't let it move. And move the pivot back. Awesome. So give me one that goes like 20 yards short of your stock with this club. Just smooth it. One more time. Bring your feet back. Your ball's too far back in your stance. So it should be somewhere in the front half. Okay? Okay. So make sure the left hand gets on there pretty firm. Try not to have your left hand too loose. Give it a good squeeze on that club. Good. Okay, way back inside. That's too, like I don't mind the draw, it's just starting too hard left. Yep. We'll get the steepness now. That's the part that's making it curve. It's not steep enough. Sorry, that's the part that's making it start to the right. It's not steep enough. Okay, so one more time. Take it back to the top. Hold it up at the top of your swing. Okay, so shoulder down to the ground a little bit, right? So we're increasing your tilt down to the right. You've got a really good extension to your back. I like that a lot. So you've got a good turn. You've got a good stand up. We just need to add that tilting down to the right a little more. And that's going to help bring the arms inside a lot. So you could actually even start your backswing feeling as though that you're trying to bring like your left shoulder here down to the ball. Right shoulder, your front shoulder, you got it, yep. That's it, awesome. Okay. That's better. One more time, do that again for me. Good, okay. So as you do that, you move a lot of weight to your back foot, which is really good. In a couple of those swings, you stayed on your front foot too long. Okay. Yeah, so I want it to feel like it gets weightless on your front foot, like the weight comes off. Good. Okay, so one more time. Here's the middle of you. So your front shoulder goes down, but it goes behind this club. That's it. On this next one, right shoulder down to the ground, takes the hands in, hold it there. Okay, so I want it to feel like you're as tall as you can be with your legs. This leg's gonna feel like it almost snaps through the back of your knee here. Yeah, good. Okay, start again, one more time. Just give me a practice swing. Right shoulder down, and then get tall. There, awesome, awesome. So the tallness, I know it's gonna almost feel as though that like, hey, like if I get tall, I'm gonna hit it even in, but the more that you can feel like that right shoulder goes down, you'll notice it brings my arms inside, which is what we want. And on the follow through, as you're standing up, I want you to... A big piece of this puzzle today is trying to get you to feel like you can bend this way and then bend that way. Tilting, or side bend as they call it, right? Bending to the right side, and that's what keeps me on that incline, right? So here's me coming out of that bend. Now my shoulders are flat. So the feeling might be that the shoulders get as steep as they can, then you get tall, and then they get as steep as they can. Steepest shoulders possible today. So give me like 3/4 backswing, 3/4 follow through, adding the bend to the right, bend to the left. Good. And let's just kind of chip one out there. So I'm going to put this down here, but I'm not using it so much in terms of like your alignment for where you're aiming. I just want you to have a visual on the ground, because, you know, if the ball is that far from the stick, it means the ball has to fly over this spot here. And if I take that all the way out to here, right? Does it look like it's ball, stick, yellow flag? Okay, so I'm going to leave this right here like this for a sec, because this is going to get goofy on you. Set up to your shot. Now, I'd bet $10 that that hat doesn't feel anywhere near the yellow stick right now. It feels left of it, doesn't it? Yeah. So this is our illusion, the misperception that we have when we stand to the left of we stand to the side of the golf ball, right? So I'm going to leave the stick there, but I want you to try to hit the top of the stick. And I bet that in itself is what's going to get your ball to start on line. If we start getting draws, I need it to start over here, so it curves back to the target. But if you see the flag here, and you're swinging here, that's why we're pulling it. Started right of the stick, huh? Okay. This is where we get into the minutia of your feel at impact. Like, I want you to feel like you're trying to get the ball started to the left. But everything we're doing with the bending down to the right to bring the hands in, bending down to the left to take a bigger divot, that's going to make the ball draw. So something in your hands has to feel like today that it might feel you push it. But I think that it won't feel like a push when you start seeing the ball fly on the right line. Yeah, big tilt to the right, and then big tilt to the left on the way through. I bet that felt miles left, huh? And it was really 2 inches left of that orange stick. Awesome. And just when you look up, you're trying to hit it 1 inch left of the yellow stick. Looking up is changing your visuals, and that's going to be a big thing today. Well, other than, you know, killing someone in the knee, like, that was it. Yeah, started left and actually curved to the right. Interesting. Okay. All right. It could be, but it also could feel as though that as you're bending that way, that you the getting lower to the ground feels funny. But, so crank it up one more time, hold it up there. So not only are you going to feel it here, it's crunching, this is stretching, and you probably turned your hips in, I could feel that, right? You're pushing that hip bone into your leg. So now you've got the hips doing the best thing ever. We haven't even talked about that. So we get that as a byproduct of being better with our tilt. There you go. That club face pointed out to the left more. that's going to do is let you spring up harder to create more speed. Yeah. Right, and that hold off of trying to keep the rooster in front of the sweet spot is going to help the ball send out to the left. Yep. Oh, so good. Starts left, curves right. So I don't want to talk about that being too much of an overdraw. I want you to start it more left. Okay. Well, this is where we can start tweaking some stuff for you too, so set up the shot. Okay, start with a little bit more forward press at setup. And when you forward press, don't twist the shaft to get it close. When you forward press, it sends the face to the left a bit. There's your start motion. Double bends, right bend, left bend, and try and, like, the whole emphasis in your swing should feel like, how do I bend, and then how do I bend? Forget about the arms and the swing itself. So in terms of like predictable ball flight or dispersion, you're like, where I want to see you hit it is, it's either going to be a block to the left that doesn't curve, or a shot that starts to the left that might over curve a little, and that's your dispersion. Yeah, no more fades at all, and no more balls that start right. Because like everyone's trying to get away of a two-way miss. The best drivers on the PGA Tour miss it equally 50% on either side of the fairway, and the worst ones miss it on one side all the time. I had a talk with a player about that. So, like, and it's just because of geometry. You're either going to push it or hook it, or pull it or fade it. You always are going to have a miss on one side, on both sides. It's just, absolutely, yeah, yeah. So, like, any trouble on the left shouldn't be an issue for you at all. Oh yeah, right. I mean, it's still within our, I call it our cone of acceptance. It starts left and doesn't curve, or overdraws 10 yards. As that club's going down, you're trying to create a thicker divot. Not a longer one, just like, show me darker dirt. Yep. You'll end up trying to find that left bend really early in the downswing. It's not a late thing, find it early. Smooth it out. Less speed toward the target, more speed toward the dirt. bend. That was outside our cone, so now my ears are up. Yeah, so when the shoulder goes down, it takes your glove and puts it inside more. Yeah. We've already got our words. Like, it's bending right and bending left. You just have to cycle through these ideas until you can do them both. More. So what takes the arms and the hands and the club away from setup, like the trigger, is trying to feel like that's going down. Because you see when I'm doing it, when my shoulder goes down, it makes my left side get out of the way, right? So feeling as though that what's moving the arms or the shoulder going down is creating that super steep shoulder tilt. Last part of the puzzle we're going to look for today is your beat of your swing, right? Sometimes it looks great and it sounds like a song on the radio, and then sometimes it's grade 3 band class and it's just all over the place. So we just have to find that whatever you have to snap to, right? It's the beat. 1, 2, back, through, whatever. Add some knee bend. Add some bend in your knees to stay flatter. Part of the old move there. So jump on these discs right here for me. It should be a good distance apart. Yeah, so make a backswing bending right, then bending left, and try and keep your feet flat to the ground. It's ankle strength here. Yeah, good. No, don't swing your arms, just feel like it's just bending right and bending left, and if the club moves, great. Start again. Start smoother, make sure it's the bend left that starts this. Yeah, my little teapot, tilt down, good, and then through, tilt the other way. Good.